Hello, 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 and welcome back to Beyond the Hustle podcast, the podcast for building the human that you are behind the business and behind the success. Today's episode, we are diving straight into finding your purpose behind the person you are in business, behind being the business coach, the business owner, the fitness coach, so whatever it is that you may be. I want you to really use this episode to dive into actually finding purpose behind that, because what I'm seeing so often right now and what I'm moving through with a lot of my clients is clients coming to me struggling with burnout, struggling with overwhelm, constantly in high stress. A lot of the conversations I'm having with people in the DMs, incredible women who are constantly burnt out, panicking, struggling with always being stressed and always having more to do and being behind and having to have more time in the day to take more off. And it really comes down to like a lot of people placing their value in how much they do and how much they take off and in their productivity, and like marrying their worth to their work rather than the human that they actually are. And one of the first questions that I always ask a lot of my clients when this kind of conversation is brought up is, if I was to put your business, if I was to put your productivity, everything you're taking off, if I was to put your success onto a shelf, close that door, close that shelf, who would you then be? Who would you be if we put your business and your success onto a shelf? And the amount of like, I don't knows and oh, I'm not sure, the amount of those answers that I get for that question tells me that this is a massive problem in business in general. Because if you don't know who you actually are behind your business, how do you expect yourself to show up as the best version of yourself? Right? If you don't know what you enjoy outside of business, if you don't know um like your strengths and your weaknesses outside of business, how do you know what to bring into business? The amount of my clients who are so creative outside of business, who are so freaking good at content and who come in with that creativity, versus the ones who don't allow themselves to be creative outside of business and then struggle with content. It's like it gets to be as simple as that as well. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me that like somewhere along the line we've all just put working and productivity and taking more off and being married to our businesses on this pedestal, right? Rather than focusing on the human that we are behind it as well. And I think a lot of people just now get, there's a hair in my face, hold on. Yeah, I think a lot of people just now, we're getting a lot of validation and confirmation that we are like working hard enough, that we're not lazy, that we're good enough, that we're deserving by taking more off, by doing more, by applying more, by focusing on strategy and all of those things, right? And I'm not saying any of that is absolutely wrong. And I'm also not saying that, like, you know, working and being in a season of hustle and grind is wrong at all. It's not, right? And if you are someone who's building a version of success and you really want to be in work like day in day out, and that sets you on fire, sets you alight, like what lights you up, not sets you on fire, and that lights you up, then like absolutely go for it. But if you cannot answer the question of who you are behind your business, then that tells me there's also a problem there, that you are choosing to be attached to your work to fix that and to have a solution for that. Because if you, for as long as you are then just working, you're not then having to think about who you are behind that. And the amount of clients that I've had who have had the most incredible success, have had massive businesses, had teams, like had the six-figure months, like loved working and loved being involved in their work, but then outside of that feel lonely in the relationships or struggle to hold relationships, struggle to switch off, can't sleep very well, like always have interrupted sleep, or can't sleep because of the thoughts, and the thoughts are constantly running around in their mind. And it's like, okay, so working is a distraction for you then. Working has become a distraction because the human behind the business is so scattered, is so like lonely, is so afraid of just being the human that you are. And that also gets to be okay. And I think for so long people, I think it's like almost become normal that we just push that to the side and we just focus on our purpose is our work, our purpose is this. But your purpose is also how connected you feel in your relationships with your mum, with your dad, with your sisters, with your brothers, with your boyfriend, with your partner, whoever they may be. That's also part of your purpose, right? Building that family, building those connections. Your purpose is also like how fulfilled you feel in your life and how good you actually feel. Your purpose is also making sure that you have the highest energy possible for showing up for your work, for your clients, for your relationships, for everyone in your life, for yourself. Your purpose is also looking after your body and looking after your nervous system, whether that's through massages, meditation, stretching, yoga, going to the gym, like running, whatever that may look like for you. Like, your purpose is so much more than just focusing on work, because if your purpose was solely work, and it was to just tick more off, then I'm just going to be very honest, you're going to feel like shit. If that was the only purpose that mattered, then you'd feel like shit. And I'm sorry, I say that so bluntly, but you absolutely would, because why else would you be going to the gym each week? Why else would you be trying to get 8 hours of sleep each night? Why else would you be going on date nights every single month? Because part of your purpose is being the best version of yourself so that you can be the best business owner as well. So when it comes down to actually understanding who you are behind the business, and finding purpose in who you are versus like what you're ticking off, I think that journey in itself, and I'm going to be honest as well here, is like that can be uncomfortable to begin with. But if you are serious about actually building the version of you so that you can hold and sustain a bigger version of success, then it is going to be a difficult journey if you're just now only focused on like ticking more off and doing more, right? And the clients that I have had who have had this massive success but have felt lonely behind the scenes, who have struggled in relationships, who don't feel connected to anyone in their life, who are struggling like mentally, physically, those are the clients as well who have had the big success but then who have lost it, or who have dipped down because deep down they don't actually want to hold that. Why would you want to hold a version of success that, yes, it has the extra zero in the bank account, but that you don't feel good in, that you feel lonely in, that you feel like an outsider in, that you feel like a fraud, that you don't feel good enough because you don't feel good enough in your relationships, right? It's like you're not going to want to hold that success. And like, I think that's where this work is so important to me. And a lot of my clients, and like if you're listening to this and you probably are an ideal client because you're probably burnt out, you're probably feeling unfulfilled in other areas of your life or in your business, and it's like, okay, well, actually let's flip the script and not instead of looking at more strategy and more to do, so to actually look at like, what do you actually need as the human to feel your absolute best for showing up in the business as well. And I think when I say this, a lot of people think it's like, oh, so I'm just going to strip back and do nothing, I'm just going to go to the gym and I'm just going to have lazy mornings and I'm just going to, and it's like, no, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is figuring out what's actually aligned with you and what structures and systems are aligned with how you want to live your life, and also what fears and like patterns, thought patterns and beliefs are going on up here that are keeping you in that like deep unfulfillment and that misalignment and that feeling of loneliness and fear of losing it all and fear of failure and feeling not good enough. Like, let's understand that first and rewire and that remove that first, because for one thing, the actual like shift you feel in your body, the way that those beliefs and those fears weigh you down day by day, because essentially what you're doing every single day is the longer that you don't rewire those, the more evidence you're packing onto them. So if you believe that you're not good enough, you believe that you're a failure, every single time that you feel a resemblance of, oh my gosh, like that was, I failed there, or oh my gosh, this person said something weird to me and that means that I'm not good enough, whatever it may be, right? Or oh my god, this client left, and because I'm not good enough, I'm obviously not giving them enough of a service, whatever it may be, right? Any single time that you feel a resemblance of that, you're adding more evidence onto that belief. That belief becomes heavier. Like, that becomes heavier in your body. That's why a lot of my clients, when they first start working with me, feel weighed down, feel low energy, feel burnt out, and a couple sessions in, feel lighter, feel warmer, feel more supported, feel more seen, feel brighter, like their energy, feel more confident. Like, you can actually see, it's insane being on a session and actually getting to see that shift, because it's so incredible, right? And it really comes down to, because for so long they focused on that strategy rather than actually focusing on removing and rewiring those fears and those beliefs that were weighing them down, right? So the first thing that you want to do is actually understand, what is it that's weighing me down, so that I can remove that, get that weight gone, shift it, let it go, But also then understand, okay, well, what structures and systems actually need to be put in place for me as a human, right? Not just as a business owner. I say this a lot to everyone, but like I always make sure in my weeks that I have time every single week in just slotted in for me, right? Last week I went and got my hair done. The week before I went and had a massage. Like it always falls on a Wednesday for some reason, but went for an hour long massage, almost fell asleep like 3 times. It was literally incredible. Last week I went and got my hair done, a couple hours get my hair done, feel great. This week I'm going to get my nails done, and it's like it doesn't have to be those things, right? I know if you're not like a girly type girl, if you're not like someone who loves to spend on those kind of things, that's absolutely fine as well. Those are just like my forms of self-care. I absolutely love all of that. Baths, massages, spas, like sign me up. Anything that's just going to make me feel more elevated, sign me up, okay? Like literally I'm there. But whatever it may look like for you, if it's like going to a different gym, if it is going to a spa as well, if it's going to play golf with your friends, I don't know why that's coming to me, going to play paddle with your friends, going to the cinema, like whatever the thing may be for you, just to go and be a human, not actually be a business owner, like that also gets to be put into your diary, also gets to be put into your week, right? And I think that's where so many people are like, oh, but if I do that, then I'm not working, then I'm not productive, then I'm this, and then I'm that, and then I'm lazy, then I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, it actually just gets to be okay that you're going to the cinema because you want to go to the cinema. When did we demonize like actually just doing things for you? And also, like, what I will say to this as well is that the more that you allow yourself to focus on the human that you are first, the better you're actually going to concentrate and focus, right? All of my clients who have found this journey like difficult and like challenging have all turned around to me and said, I'm so glad that I actually learned to switch off more, learned to allow myself to put those boundaries in place. And not offer client messages 24/7 or calls 24/7, and actually allowed myself to take a day off and go and enjoy time with my family and friends, because the next day I was able to smash through my to-do list. I was able to show up way better on Instagram and on socials and sell with way more confidence and conviction, and I immediately got inquiries coming in. Like the more that I also get people coming to me saying, oh, do you know what, I took yesterday off and I got a massive offer coming through. I got a massive idea for an offer coming through. Like, I have this great idea that I'm going to run with for this launch. What are your thoughts on this? And it's like, yes, 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 yes. Because you've taken that day off, you now get to actually be a better business owner. And because you've taken that time for you, you then get to actually show up better for part of your purpose. And again, it comes back to your purpose is your entire being, right? And I don't doesn't matter what other people think, but that's how I like to view your purpose, right? Your purpose is your entire being. Your purpose is your body, is your mindset, is your energy, is like everything to do with you, so that you can pour better into your work, into your role as a coach or business owner, whatever it may be. That's also your purpose. And I think when you get to flip the script and look at your purpose, not actually as just like, I serve people this way and I do this, it's like, how do you serve people? How do you serve people? By being in the best energy that you can be. So that's your purpose. And I think it's like that little mindset shift is massive and goes such a long way, because once you start allowing yourself to focus on that instead, you're going to absolutely scale more sustainably, scale with more fulfillment, scale with more ease, because you're going to enjoy the process so much more. And of course, let's let that be a part of your purpose as well. So yeah, I think one of the most important shifts that you can make, especially when starting out as well, because I think I have a lot, I work with a lot of clients who are just starting a business and who are just starting to build their business. And especially when you are in the starting phases, like you probably are going to have to work more. And like, don't get me wrong, that just will probably have to be the scenario, because you might be working a little bit more for free, to get more testimonials. You might be like really trying to set the foundation and set like your presence, like create your presence as well. But I get a lot of clients then coming to me, and it is then very much like their entire worth and value does become placed on their work, right? And I think if you are in that stage just now, like it also gets to be okay that your purpose is still actually how you show up as well, and your energy and who you are, because you're building the foundation, you're in the building stage. So yes, it might look a little bit different from when you have the bigger success, but also allow yourself to build more sustainably now, so that it feels better later, and you're not then having to panic, put in boundaries, and panic because you're burnt out, and feel exhausted because now you're stretched way too thin because you've not then created that solid foundation of structures and systems and removed those fears as well that are weighing you down, right? If you're building a foundation based on a structure and a schedule and systems that are going to burn you out, going to really stretch you to the point of overwhelm, and that are going to exhaust you, they're not going to leave any room for you. And then if you're also building on a foundation that's built on I'm not good enough and I'm not deserving and I'm going to fail, and what if this happens, what if that happens, and you've got all of these bad scenarios moving around, you're going to create a shaky foundation as well. So it's like, let's pull back from that and actually allow the purpose to be to not build a shaky foundation as well, and to actually, again, focus on your energy and who you are and your body and your mind and your business. So, yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you guys here because I feel like that actually was potent for me. I feel like I got all of my thoughts out in that, and I don't want to just end up rambling for you guys. But I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope it made you think as well about like where you're showing up in line with your purpose being your business versus where can your purpose also just get to be you. And I think allow it to be a journey, but allow yourself to feel better with it bit by bit as well. Build that foundation that's strong for you, not just for your business. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.